The Department of Veterans Affairs, they are largely scaling back layoffs to less than half of the initial plan. That's thanks to success with early retirements, deferred resignations, and the federal hiring freeze.
So originally, the VA was eyeing a downsized goal of 83,000 employees. Now that goal is 30,000. At the beginning of this year, the federal agency employed 484,000 people. 6 months later, that number reached 467,000, down 17,000 employees, eliminating the need for a large-scale reduction in force. So you would think that the Democrats would rejoice over this, but wrong.
A cut of 30,000 will decimate the ability of the VA to provide good health care to our veterans who have risked their lives for us. What Secretary Collins is doing is making the VA so toxic that workers are leaving on their own. It's a vicious cycle, a cynical double whammy, where veterans pay the ultimate price for Donald Trump's cruelty.
Joining us now is Veterans Affairs Secretary Doug Collins. Doug, it's always great to have you on the program. We were just talking about Medicaid, for example. We're going to be talking about interpretations of the Constitution. Now we're talking about the VA and DOJ and cutting. There is just, if you're a Democrat, there is no room in any aspect of the government or life or the system to reform anything, even if things haven't been enacted correctly for the betterment of the country. It's really difficult for me to get my head around.
It seems to obviously to be difficult for Chuck Schumer as well. You know what's cruel is over the last 4 years, we had an increase in personnel, an increase in hundreds of billions of dollars, at the $100 billion in the budget at the VA, but yet our wait times for our patients went up. Our wait times into community care went up. Our backlog of disability claims was at 260,000 when I came in. And you know, I didn't hear Chuck Schumer talking about it then. I didn't hear Chuck Schumer talking about the cruelty of making patients wait over 20 and 30, 40 days to get their mental health appointments. Where was Chuck Schumer then? He was wanting to protect his union workforce. He was wanting to protect just stuff that he doesn't really want to look into, because what we really needed was leadership, and we needed a force at the VA that said our workforce is about serving veterans. Our workforce is not about increasing federal government payrolls. And that's what we've been able to do. And I promised them back then when we started the look at the goal of how we were going to look at our reduction in force is that no benefits were going to be cut, no disability checks were going to be scaled back, and that we would make improvements to help our health care for our veterans. I've kept my promises. Obviously, they don't want to keep their promises, because if they did, they would applaud what we're doing and they would help us instead of criticize us.
Well, and Secretary Collins, I know you tweeted out that the veterans waiting for benefits backlog has dropped nearly 30% since January. I mean, isn't that what it's about? Right. About helping our veterans who have served our country, who are willing to put their lives on the line to protect us, to protect our freedoms, instead of how many employees the VA has?
Yeah, that's what you would tend to think. I mean, if you want to help veterans, wouldn't that seem to be the right purpose, is to help veterans? Well, that's what our purpose is doing. I'm proud of what we're doing. And yes, you know, they keep saying that we push people out. People took advantage of early retirement. People took advantage of the deferred proposition to leave. You know, this was the proposition that they had. And really what we've seen is as we've been through this transition, our numbers are getting better, because we didn't allow just anybody to leave. We had 350,000 employees, job descriptions, that were not allowed to take these. We kept the core constituency of what the VA is supposed to do, and that is help veterans in place. They don't want to talk about that. They would rather just get up there and lie. They would rather just get up there and deceive. And you know what bothers me? What bothers me is if they listen to him and somebody didn't know better, a veteran who may have needed care at the VA, a veteran who is maybe having some mental health issues, maybe even thinking suicidal thoughts, they hear something like that, they don't come to the VA for help, and then who's responsible at that point? They've got to get better at helping the VA instead of just complaining about it.
That's such a great point. We also want to get your take on this, Secretary. So speaking of the trimming of the bloated bureaucracy, the AFL-CIO union has launched a nationwide bus tour to fight agency reductions and is planning to stop outside of VA offices. Here's how the tour is looking so far.
We are going where the action is. Woo! We are going to get out where the veterans are, who are struggling to access health care as hospitals are closing down.
This is remarkable to me. And to the point that you just made, when you actually fix systems, you make them better, you make them stronger. When they scream and yell Secretary Collins, they're making the problem worse, and that is actually what is very dangerous. But the Democrats still are in denial. They don't understand why they lost the election. And for some reason, even with 6 months, 7 months passage of time, they can't really get their head around it. They're in a lot of trouble.
Oh, very much so. We have a saying for what we just witnessed there in the South. It's called "Bless your heart."
Yes.
You know, it's just sad to see that, you know, so we're going where the action is. We're going to have veterans who are struggling to get their health care. Where? Show me these veterans. Show me that, because we're actually doing things to get their health care better. We're lowering wait times. We're getting them into community care by things like best medical interest, which let the doctor and the veteran decide if the care is quicker or better at the VA, or do we need to fund that through our community care doctors. You know, this again, notice who's putting this on. They're about the employees, which my employees are great, by the way. I've got some wonderful employees that are doing great, great things. And they'll have a secretary that has their back as long as they're taking care of our veterans. But what I don't need is groups like this who are making money off of our employees to stay in business, going around and saying that things are bad. Come and see what we're doing. Help us if you think the veterans problem is there. But don't just tell me that the only way to do it is throw money and people at it, because you've already proved that don't work.
Well, Secretary Collins, I went to the University of Tennessee, so I'm very familiar with what bless your heart means. So I had to laugh after you said that. Secretary Doug Collins, you have such an important job taking care of our veterans, so we so appreciate your time and the work that you're doing. Thank you, sir.